The Double Clue by Agatha Christie. Introduction. Poirot is called in by Marcus Hardman, a collector of various antique precious objects, to investigate a jewel theft.
But above everything, no publicity,
said Mr. Marcus Hardman for perhaps the 14th time. The word publicity occurred regularly in Mr. Hardman's conversation. He was a small man, delicately plump with manicured hands and a gloomy tenor voice. In his way, he was somewhat of a celebrity, and the fashionable life was his profession. He was rich, but not remarkably so, and he spent his money eagerly in the pursuit of social pleasure. His hobby was collecting. He had the collector's soul. Old lace, old fans, antique jewelry. Nothing crude or modern for Marcus Hardman. Poirot and I were urgently requested to visit the little man. We had arrived to find him upset and unsure what to do. To call in the police was against his nature. On the other hand, not to call them in was to accept the loss of some of the gems of his collection. He had thought of Poirot as a compromise.
5 rubies, Monsieur Poirot, and the emerald necklace said to have belonged to Catherine de Medici, the legendary Queen of France. Oh, the emerald necklace.
If you will tell me how they came to disappear,
suggested Poirot gently.
I am trying to do so. Yesterday afternoon I had a little tea party. Quite an informal affair, some half a dozen people or so. I have given 1 or 2 of them during the season, and though perhaps I should not say so, thou have been quite a success. Some good music, Nakora, the pianist, and Catherine Bird, the Australian contralto, in the big studio. Well, early in the afternoon I was showing my guests my collection of medieval jewels. I keep them in the small wall safe over there. It is arranged like a cabinet inside, with coloured velvet background to display the stones. Afterwards we inspected the fans, in the case on the wall, then we all went to the studio for music. It was not until after everyone had gone that I discovered the safe looted. I must have failed to shut it properly, and someone had seized the opportunity to steal its contents. The rubies, Monsieur Poirot, the emerald necklace, the collection of a lifetime. What would I not give to recover them? But there must be no publicity, nothing in the newspapers. You fully understand that, do you not, Monsieur Poirot? My own guests, my personal friends. It would be a horrible scandal.
Who was the last person to leave this room when you went to the studio?
Mr. Johnston. You may know him, the South African millionaire. He has just rented the Abbotbury's house in Park Lane. He lingered behind a few moments, I remember. But surely, oh surely it could not be he.
Did any of your guests return to this room during the afternoon on any pretext?
I was prepared for that question, Monsieur Poirot. 3 of them did. Countess Vera Rossakoff, Mr. Bernard Parker, and Lady Runcorn.
Let us hear about them.
The Countess Rossakoff is a very charming Russian lady, a member of the old regime. She has recently come to this country. She had said goodbye to me, and I was therefore somewhat surprised to find her in this room, apparently gazing in rapture at my cabinet of fans. You know, Monsieur Poirot, the more I think of it, the more suspicious it seems to me, don't you agree?
Extremely suspicious, but let us hear about the others.
Well, Parker simply came here to fetch a case of miniature portraits that I was anxious to show to Lady Runcorn.
And Lady Runcorn herself?
As I dare say you know, Lady Runcorn is a middle-aged woman of strong character, who devotes most of her time to charitable work. She simply returned to fetch a handbag she had laid down somewhere.
Well, monsieur, so we have 4 possible suspects. The Russian Countess, the Grand English Lady, the South African millionaire, and Mr. Bernard Parker. Who is Mr. Parker, by the way?
The question appeared to embarrass Mr. Hardman a great deal.
He is a young fellow. Well, in fact, a young fellow I know.
I had already deduced as much,
replied Poirot gravely.
What does he do, this Mr. Parker?
He is a young man about town. Not perhaps one of my usual circle of friends, if I may so express myself.
How did he come to be a friend, may I ask?
Well, on 1 or 2 occasions he has performed certain little jobs for me.
Continue, monsieur,
said Poirot. Hardman looked at him sheepishly. Evidently the last thing he wanted to do was to continue, but as Poirot remained totally silent, he had no choice.
Rosie, Monsieur Poirot, it is well known that I am interested in antique jewels. Sometimes someone wants to sell a family heirloom, which, mind you, would never be sold in the open market or to a dealer. But a private sale to me is a very different matter. Parker arranges the details of such things. He is in touch with both sides, and thus any little embarrassment is avoided. He brings anything of that kind to my notice. For instance, the Countess Rossakoff has brought some family jewels with her from Russia. She is keen to sell them. Bernard Parker was to have arranged the sale.
I see,
said Poirot thoughtfully.
And you trust him completely?
I have had no reason not to.
Mr. Hardman, of these 4 people, which do you yourself suspect?
Oh, Monsieur Poirot, what a question. They are my friends, as I told you. I suspect none of them, or all of them, whichever way you like to put it.
I do not agree. You suspect one of those 4. It is not Countess Rossakoff, it is not Mr. Parker. Is it Lady Runcorn or Mr. Johnston?
You drive me into a corner, Monsieur Poirot, you do indeed. I am most keen to have no scandal. Lady Runcorn belongs to one of the oldest families in England, but it is true, it is most unfortunately true that her aunt, Lady Caroline, suffered from a very sad affliction. It was understood, of course, by all her friends, and her maid returned the teaspoons, or whatever it was, as promptly as possible. You see my problem.
So, Lady Runcorn had an aunt who was a kleptomaniac. Very interesting. Will you let me examine the safe?
Mr. Hardman agreeing, Poirot pushed back the door of the safe and examined the inside. The empty, velvet-lined shelves gaped at us.
Even now the door does not shut properly,
murmured Poirot, as he swung it to and fro.
I wonder why. Ah, what have we here? A glove caught in the hinge, a man's glove.
He held it out to Mr. Hardman.
That's not one of my gloves.
The latter declared.
Aha, something more.
Poirot bent deftly and picked up a small object from the floor of the safe. It was a flat cigarette case, made of black moiré.
My cigarette case?
Cried Mr. Hardman.
Yours? Surely not, monsieur. Those are not your initials.
He pointed to a monogram of 2 letters made with platinum. Hardman took it in his hand.
You are right,
he declared.
It is very like mine, but the initials are different. A B and a P. Good heavens, Parker.
It would seem so,
said Poirot.
A somewhat careless young man, especially if the glove is his also. That would be a double clue, would it not?
Bernard Parker,
murmured Hardman.
What a relief. Well, Monsieur Poirot, I leave it to you to recover the jewels. Place the matter in the hands of the police if you think fit. That is, if you are quite sure that it is he who is guilty.
See you, my friend,
said Poirot to me as we left the house together.
He has one law for the titled and another law for the plain, this Mr. Hardman. Me, I have not yet been given a title, so I'm on the side of the plain. I feel for this young man. The whole thing was a little curious, was it not? There was Hardman suspecting Lady Runcorn. There was I suspecting the Countess and Johnston. And all the time the obscure Mr. Parker was our man.
Why did you suspect the other 2?
Heavens! It is such a simple thing to be a Russian refugee or a South African millionaire. Any woman can call herself a Russian countess. Anyone can buy a house in Park Lane and call himself a South African millionaire. Who is going to contradict them? But I see that we are passing through Berry Street. Our careless young friend lives here. Let us, as you say, strike while the iron is hot.
Mr. Bernard Parker was at home. We found him lounging on some cushions, dressed in an amazing dressing gown of purple and orange. I have seldom taken a greater dislike to anyone than I did to this young man with his white, effeminate face and phony lisping speech.
Good morning, monsieur,
said Poirot briskly.
I come from Mr. Hardman. Yesterday at the party, somebody has stolen all his jewels. Permit me to ask you, monsieur, is this your glove?
Mr. Parker's brain seemed to work slowly. He stared at the glove as though gathering his wits together.
Where did you find it?
He asked at last.
Is it your glove, monsieur?
Mr. Parker appeared to make up his mind.
No, it isn't,
he declared.
And this cigarette case, is that yours?
Certainly not. I always carry a silver one.
Very well, monsieur. I go to put matters in the hands of the police.
Oh, I say, I wouldn't do that if I were you,
cried Mr. Parker in some concern.
Beastly unkind people, the police. Wait a bit. I'll go round and see old Hardman. Look here. Oh, stop a minute.
But Poirot left quickly and said no more.
We have given him something to think about, have we not?
He chuckled.
Tomorrow we will see what has occurred.
But we were reminded of the Hardman case that afternoon. Without warning, the door flew open, and a human whirlwind came in, bringing with her a swirl of furs. It was as cold as only an English June day can be, and a hat decked out with dead ospreys. Countess Vera Rossakoff was a somewhat disturbing person.
You are Monsieur Poirot? What is this that you have done? You accuse that poor boy. It is vile. It is scandalous. I know him. He is a chicken, a lamb. Never would he steal. He has done everything for me. Will I stand by and see him killed and butchered?
Tell me, madam, is this his cigarette case?
Poirot held out the black moiré case. The Countess paused for a moment while she inspected it.
Yes, it is his. I know it well. What of it? Did you find it in the room? We were all there. He dropped it then, I suppose. Ah, you policemen, you are worse than the Russian Red Guards.
And is this his glove?
How should I know? One glove is like another. Do not try to stop me. He must be set free. His character must be cleared. You shall do it. I will sell my jewels and give you much money.
Madame.
It is agreed then? No, do not argue. The poor boy. He came to me, the tears in his eyes. I will save you, I said. I will go to this man, this brute, this monster, leave it to Vera. Now it is settled, I go.
Without saying goodbye, she swept from the room, leaving an overpowering perfume of an exotic nature behind her. "What a woman!" I shouted. "And what furs!"
Ah, yes, they were real enough. Could a fake countess have real furs? My little joke, Hastings. So she is truly Russian, I think. Well, so Master Bernard went bleating to her.
The cigarette case is his. I wonder if the glove is also. With a smile, Poirot drew from his pocket a second glove and placed it by the first. There was no doubt that they were a pair. "Where did you get the second one, Poirot?"
It was thrown down with a stick on, the table in the hall in Berry Street. Truly a very careless young man, Mr. Parker. Well, my friend, we must be thorough. Just for the form of the thing, I will make a little visit to Park Lane.
Of course, I accompanied my friend. Johnston was out, but we saw his private secretary. It turned out that Johnston had only recently arrived from South Africa. He had never been in England before.
He is interested in precious stones, is he not?
Asked Poirot.
Gold mining is nearer the mark.
Laughed the secretary. Poirot came away from the interview thoughtful. Late that evening, to my utter surprise, I found him earnestly studying a book of Russian grammar. "Good heavens, Poirot!" I cried. "Are you learning Russian in order to speak to the Countess in her own language?"
She certainly would not listen to my English, my friend.
"But surely, Poirot, well-born Russians always speak French."
You know so many things, Hastings. I will stop puzzling over the Russian alphabet.
He threw the book from him with a dramatic gesture. I was not entirely satisfied. There was a twinkle in his eye which I knew of old. It was always a sign that Hercule Poirot was pleased with himself. "Perhaps," I said sharply. "You doubt her being really a Russian. You are going to test her?"
No, she is Russian, all right.
"Well then..."
If you really want to succeed with this case, Hastings, I recommend first steps in Russian as a vital aid her.
Then he laughed and would say no more. I picked up the book from the floor and dipped into it curiously, but could make no sense of Poirot's remarks. The following morning brought us no news of any kind, but that did not seem to worry my little friend. At breakfast, he announced that he would call upon Mr. Hardman early in the day. We found the old man at home, and seemingly a little calmer than on the previous day.
"Well, Monsieur Poirot, any news?"
he asked eagerly. Poirot handed him a slip of paper.
That is the person who took the jewels, monsieur. Shall I put matters in the hands of the police? Or would you prefer me to recover the jewels without bringing the police into the matter?
Mr. Hardman was staring at the paper. At last he managed to speak.
"Most astonishing. I should prefer to have no scandal in the matter. Deal with it as you think best, Monsieur Poirot. I am sure you will be discreet."
Outside we hailed a taxi, which Poirot ordered to drive to the Carlton. There he asked for Countess Rossakoff. In a few minutes, we were led into the ladies' suite. She came to meet us with open arms, dressed in a marvellous dressing gown of barbaric design.
Monsieur Poirot,
She cried.
you have succeeded? You have cleared that poor infant?
Madame la Comtesse, your friend. Mr. Parker is perfectly safe from arrest.
Ah, but you are the clever little man. Superb, and so quickly too.
On the other hand, I have promised Mr. Hardman that the jewels shall be returned to him today.
So?
Therefore, madam, I should be extremely grateful if you would place them in my hands without delay. I am sorry to hurry you, but I am keeping a taxi waiting in case I need to go on to Scotland Yard. And we Belgians, madam, we like to be thrifty.
The Countess had lit a cigarette. For some seconds she sat perfectly still, blowing smoke rings and gazing steadily at Poirot. Then she burst into a laugh and rose. She went across to a bureau, opened a drawer, and took out a black silk handbag. She tossed it lightly to Poirot. Her tone, when she spoke, was perfectly light and unmoved.
We Russians, on the contrary, are extravagant.
She said.
And so, unfortunately, one must have money. You need not look inside. They are all there.
Poirot stood up.
I congratulate you, madam, on your quick intelligence and your speedy action.
Ah, but since you were keeping your taxi waiting, what else could I do?
You are too kind, madam. Are you staying long in London?
I am afraid no, because of you.
Accept my apologies.
We shall meet again elsewhere, perhaps.
I hope so.
And I do not,
said the Countess with a laugh.
It is a great compliment that I pay you there. There are very few men in the world whom I fear. Goodbye, Monsieur Poirot.
Goodbye, Madame la Comtesse. Ah, pardon me, I forgot. Allow me to return your cigarette case.
And with a bow he handed to her the little black moire case we had found in the safe. She took it, without any change of expression, just a lifted eyebrow and a murmured,
I see.
What a woman!
cried Poirot joyfully as we descended the stairs.
My God, what a woman. Not a word of argument, of protest, of bluff. One quick glance and she had sized up the position correctly. I tell you, Hastings, a woman who can accept defeat like that with a careless smile will go far. She is dangerous. She has the nerves of steel. He
tripped heavily. If you can manage to tread carefully and look where you're going, it might be as well, I suggested. When did you first suspect the Countess?
My friend, it was the glove and the cigarette case. The double clue, shall we say. That worried me. Bernard Parker might easily have dropped one or the other, but hardly both. Ah, no, that would have been too careless. In the same way, if someone else had placed them there to frame Parker, one would have been enough. The cigarette case or the glove. Again, not both. So I decided that one of the two things did not belong to Parker. I thought at first that the case was his and that the glove was not. But when I found the pair to the glove, I saw that it was the other way about. Whose, then, was the cigarette case? Clearly it could not belong to Lady Runcorn. The initials were wrong. Mr. Johnston? Only if he were here under a false name. I spoke to his secretary, and it was apparent at once that everything was clear and above board. There was nothing murky about Mr. Johnston's past. The Countess, then? She was supposed to have brought jewels with her from Russia. She had only to take Hardman's rubies and emeralds from their settings, and they would be very unlikely ever to be identified. What could be easier for her than to pick up one of Parker's gloves from the hall that day and thrust it into the safe? But, of course, she did not intend to drop her own cigarette case.
But if the case was hers, why did it have BP on it? The Countess's initials are VR. Poirot smiled gently upon me.
Exactly, my friend. But in the Russian alphabet, B is V and P is R.
Well, you couldn't expect me to guess that. I don't know Russian.
Neither do I, Hastings. That is why I bought my little book and urged you to look at it.
He sighed.
A remarkable woman. I have a feeling, my friend. A very definite feeling I shall meet her again. Where, I wonder?
The End. The Double Clue by Agatha Christie. Voices generated by 11labs.io. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe our channel Read Up Your Life.